time to restock that wellness stash from Claritin. Take advantage of.
Join us and check out our Prime Day deals.
Alrighty. Hey, what up, Go Master? It's my first time running a live stream, so I'm just gonna try and figure out all the kinks and stuff real quick, but it's good to see you here, man. Thank you. Alrighty. Hey, what up, Go Master? It's my first time running a live stream, so I'm just gonna try and figure out all the kinks and stuff real quick, but it's good to see you here, man. Thank you. Alright. I wanted to put a thumbnail on there, but I haven't really quite figured that out yet. Maybe it's something I'll have to figure out at a later date. Alright. I wanted to put a thumbnail on there, but I haven't really quite figured that out yet. Let's see if I can figure this out for you guys real quick. You doing alright, Guildmaster? You having a good day, man? See if I can figure this out for you. Seems like it's kind of looping that old audio. You doing alright, Guildmaster? Might just have to end the live stream real quick. Oh, golly. Okay, my bad, bro. I figured it out. Alright. Nice, man. You been out fishing at all? I want to go out today, but it's like storming really bad outside, so I figured I would just hop on live stream and probably spool up some of these reels I got here in the back. I don't know if I'm doing a good job with the camera or not, just bear with me, but there's some like what appears to be these rods. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna end up spooling some up and making sure my line's all good to go for the next time I'm out fishing. How about yourself? Any plans on fishing, anything like that? Any big plans? Oh, here we go. I think I might, yeah. Let's go. Real time figuring out how to throw a thumbnail on there. Alright. I got some fishing in. Caught a nice fish, but it's been super hot where I'm at. Yeah, same here. It's so weird that it's like storming outside because it was like bright and sunny yesterday. It was like 95, I think. Maybe pushing more than that, and I know some areas is getting up there past the 100s, so it's getting hot. It's that summertime heat's kicking in. Those fish are getting lethargic. They really don't want to eat too much. You could just throw like finesse stuff for the most part and probably catch some smaller fish, but yeah, it's been a tough bite here as well. Oh, here we go. Yes. All right. Save that. I'll get right into spooling up some of these reels real quick. This is just, again, like I said, it's my first time kind of figuring things out. Yeah, I don't know, there's a learning curve to everything, of course, but when it comes to live streaming, I'm a bit like nervous, obviously, because it's like you got to be on top of your game. Let's see here. Live stream, playlist, perfect. Alrighty. Who's my favorite fisherman? Oh, that depends. Like, there's retired bass fishermen and there's pros. If you're just like in general across the board, that's really tough to answer. Honestly, I have a lot of favorites. It's gonna be like weird to say this, but I really like Mike Iaconelli. He's just really passionate about the sport, the same way I kind of am. Like he's really into it. He's really into fishing. He's kind of just, I feel like, made himself a whole career, and he's just still established to this day. So I don't know, big shout out to him, man. He's a good fisherman, and he's a good fisherman. He's a good salesman. Like, I don't know, I like watching his videos sometimes whenever I'm just kind of like wanting something more laid back. But there's so many great fishermen out there. Like I like DC Fishing, I like Milliken Fishing, I like Jacob Wheeler, Mark Daniels, I like golly, there's a lot. John B, I like John B a lot. I'm trying to think of who I watch like on a regular. Greg Blanchard, he's a really good YouTuber as well. SB Fishing, man, that boy's a great YouTuber. Who else is there? Golly, there's someone else I'm thinking of. Oh, I'm forgetting his handle. It's like Crazy Bass Fisher, Underground Bass Fisherman, or like Crazy Bass. I don't remember what it is, but he makes a lot of like Japanese swim bait videos, or like just big swim bait videos, glide bait videos, stuff like that. But I like his channel a lot as well. I really like people that are more real, like natural, organic kind of feeling, because that's typically the theme that I take on my channel. I don't really like to be weird about anything. My cousin is a big fan of Ike. Yeah, I like Ike. He's cool, man. I like Abu Garcia as well. I like Berkeley, and I think it's pretty cool because I think he's sponsored by Berkeley and Rapala, so that's kind of cool that he's got like the two biggest brands under his belt, and he can kind of brag on both of them. He can, like, for example, he can literally go pick up a DT6 off of his shelf just like I did and be like, yo, like, this is a great bait, run straight and true every time, whatever. But it's cool because he's sponsored by them, so they're probably loading him up on baits. He's just like, yeah, give me 3 of everything. We'll get there one day. There's also, just a lot of other. Oh, hey, what's up, Notorious Fishing? My favorite underrated YouTuber. Thanks, bro. That means a lot. Oh, you know what? My face is like not even in the camera. I gotta figure this out. I could do this. Is this better? I guess I'll have to see whenever the stream updates. But I have lots as well, like DC, Jacob Wheeler, KVD, Zona, Hank Cherry, Keith. Oh dang, so you like them dudes that are like, dang, you don't hear about them unless they're like, they're underrated, bro. They're underrated as well, man. There's a lot of great fishermen that are underrated, that I think everybody will get their light, you know what I mean? Everybody gets their shine. But yeah, KVD's a great fisherman, Zona's a great fisherman, Hank Cherry, yeah, all of them. Pretty much everyone you listed is a great fisherman as well. Not trying to leave anyone out. I really just started this live stream because I wanted to see like how it would pan out and how I could basically just work my live stream, set it up, all that good stuff. And I wasn't really completely ready to put on any line. I just have the box of it right here that I typically keep all my line in, but I think there's some reels that I know are completely empty, and then there's some reels that are missing a lot of lines, so I got to do something about that. Golly, this is like when someone asks you what's your favorite song, and it's like you could be listening to music all week long, bumping all your favorite stuff, and then it's like they put you on the spot and you're just like, Like I don't even know what to put on right now. I gotta figure out what line I'm gonna throw on a reel and get started doing that stuff. I know it's probably gonna be something heavy. I got some big rods over here. It's probably gonna be either like a 20 or a 25 pound fluorocarbon for a swim bait rod, or I'm gonna be throwing like 65 pound braid on one of my flipping setups. Yeah, I think that's where we'll start out. Probably with the 65 pound. Where did I put my 65 pound? Oh, here we go. Suffix Performance Braid. I like Suffix a lot. I carry a lot of their 832. 832 Suffix is probably one of my favorite lines to go with, just because it has the Gore-Tex technology. I've talked about that in my line and accessory unboxing, stuff like that, so I won't go too much in depth, but I mean, listen, if Gore-Tex is backing them, they got to be doing something right. I really like Suffix. You don't have to go out and get it. I mean, I fish a lot of other stuff too, like I have Power Pro right here. What else do I got here? I even have some spider wire stuff, which is not necessarily my favorite, but I'll still fish it. I got Beyond Braid, which I like Beyond Braid as well. If I'm not throwing 832, I'm throwing Beyond Braid. And then if I'm not throwing Beyond Braid, it's probably Power Pro or just whatever I can get my hands on, guys. Fishing is definitely all about being efficient and what's cost effective. You can't go out and buy, I mean, depending on how much money you have, right? If you got a ton of money, you can probably go out and buy the whole world. I'm working on making my own bait company and making videos of me, so I'm taking notes from everyone I can. Yeah, that's really smart, man. That's exactly what you should do. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm doing, right? Like, you see, you asked me what are my favorite fishermen, and we listed a lot of the same people. So it's like, typically, if you want to be the best, you gotta look up to the best, you know what I mean? And then eventually you'll get there. But yeah, man, I believe in you. And when you start making baits, let me know. I definitely would love to check some of your videos out, and if you make some baits and you want me to review them, if you want me to show them off, you already know what I do on the channel here, so you know, feel free as well. I did talk about in one of my shorts that I plan on getting some bait making stuff as well, because I have like stuff like this, which these are just ripped up soft plastics that I've either found or ripped up soft plastics that I've ripped up obviously fishing. I try and collect them all. I don't really want to leave them in the pond. I don't want to litter microplastics, all that stuff, but yeah, I'll probably do a remelt video or something like that with those. I think it'd be cool. But yeah, that's what's up, Gillmaster, bro. I really wish you the best of luck. I hope you get that channel started soon. I'll be checking the videos out. Alright. I think the best course of action for me is to literally just look at what I have, and then we'll go from there. Bro, Notorious Fishing, you're too kind. I keep looking at that, chat. My favorite underrated fisherman. That means a lot, bro. I appreciate that. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I can't really decide where to go from here, so you know what, we're on a live stream, you're gonna decide for me. Alright, let me know in the chat if I should throw my fluorocarbon on first, or if I should throw my braid on first. I got two rods, one is a little bit bigger than the other, but they're both like heavies. I gotta throw fluorocarbon on this rod. It's a swim bait / glide bait rod. And I gotta throw some braid on this rod over here. It's a flipping and pitching / large topwater bait. So if I got like a really big heavy prop bait, or if I got like one of those massive mega dogs that I can walk, stuff like that. But let me know what you think. What should I throw on what first? Awesome, thank you for that. I have plastics. There's a link in my bio. I will definitely check that out. As soon as I'm done with this live stream, I'll check that out. I'm afraid to swipe away from anything. Again, this is first live stream. I don't know what I can and can't do quite yet, but yeah, I will definitely check that out. I guess I better get all the lines out and prepared. what's that called in cooking? Mise en place or some French word or something like that. I don't even know if I said the right thing there, but something like that. I know I'm gonna need to throw some 15-pound line on. That can stay closed. I'll pull out the big guns. What y'all know about this big old Berkeley spool? 15-pound, 100% trilene. That's the stuff right there. I gotta find my little rod spooler or combo spooler. Huh. Trying to remember where I put it. I'm worried I accidentally threw it away. I wouldn't have done that though. I would have put it somewhere here. See, the problem is, what you guys are actually getting a sneak peek into for everyone that's watching the live stream, which is not everyone, but that's fine. If you're watching the live stream, then you're getting a sneak peek at my room, which I haven't even filmed a video on this yet, but those rods up on the wall, pretty much everything, like the only thing that y'all have seen is the bait wall, which that's the only thing I put in the video, but I recorded a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm currently editing now that y'all are gonna get to see, which is me putting up the rods and stuff like that, which it really won't be much of a surprise, but if you want, you can check that out, because then you may want to do something like this in the future, or I don't know, whatever. If you want. It's not even up yet, so don't worry about it. Do I have a favorite line braid? I have some, I believe, Berkeley trilene pound. Yeah, let's go. Do I have a favorite line braid? Alright, my favorite is definitely going to be Suffix, but not just any Suffix. It's going to be Suffix 832, mainly because it's got the Gore-Tex technology inside of the line, which if you're a big name brand like Gore-Tex and you're backing Suffix, that's got to tell you something. They're doing something right. This stuff is just really nice and clean. I also like the colors as well, so I think this one's called like Sunset or something, and this is camo. Here, I'll see what this one is called. Sunrise, excuse me. It's called Sunrise, which I don't know if the camera's doing this any justice, but pretty much it's just got, here, I'll take it out of the package, dude. This thing is sweet. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh. But I will say this, there's obviously more affordable options. So like a more well-rounded one that I do typically rock with is Beyond Braid, which also they come in some really cool colors as well. But the reason why I go with Beyond Braid, as it's more affordable, is like these two spools right here are 500 yards, and I think I paid like 30 bucks, and you can find them on sale sometimes. So 30 bucks for 500 yards, and I believe that the Suffix here was 300 yards, and I paid like 20 something dollars with tax, almost like 24, 25 dollars. So for $5 more, I got 200 more yards. It's just a bit better of a deal, as well as like a lot of people like to hate on Beyond Braid, but it's a good braid. I've used it. I've caught 4-pounders, I've caught 5-pounders with it. I haven't caught anything larger than that, if I'm being honest, but if I have, I'm sure it would hold up to it. It's 50-pound braid. Is that braid or fluoro? Which one? Are you talking about the Beyond Braid, or are you talking about the 832 with the Gore-Tex fibers? The Suffix one? Oh, okay. The Suffix one is not fluorocarbon. It is braided line, but it has like Gore-Tex technology inside of the line. So I don't know how to explain that, but I'm sure it's probably got some sort of like a fluoropolymer inside of the line that's going to just make it have a way stronger integrity. It's going to hold up way better. I know it holds up a lot better whenever I'm fishing saltwater fishing. Like whenever I go to the coast, this is what I'm using 100% of the time, and that's what I recommend to everyone. I'm not sure if I showed it in the video, but I posted a video about a few weeks ago, and it's me in Galveston with my boys, and while we were at a tackle shop, my buddy Don was trying to figure out what braided line to go with, and I recommended him some Suffix 832, and he ended up catching a really nice drum with it as well. So there's just there's just something inside of the braided line that's essentially making it a lot better. And if you're familiar with Gore-Tex, it's a really popular outdoor company that has a lot of really good stuff out there for anyone that's into hiking, camping, fishing, probably even hunting as well. I'm just really not too familiar with that line of product, but yeah, Gore-Tex is some really good stuff. It's a little bit more expensive, but it gets the job done. I really like it. It's just the one braid I feel like I could recommend to anyone through a camera lens, right? Like, I'm not in-store shopping with you. I can't see the line. I can't be like, dude, this thing's sitting on a shelf for 5 years. The integrity's probably gone. I wouldn't go with it. I can't see the line to know what you're gonna buy in store or even online when you're making a purchase. You, the buyer, can't see what line you're getting till it shows up to you. Obviously, you can see a picture of it, but that does not tell you the specific one that you're getting. With Sufix 832, I literally feel like I can just recommend it to anyone, and I'm not worried about it. Like, I've never had anyone be like, dude, the line you recommended me, it snapped. Like, I don't know, man. If you mess something up with Sufix, then you might be doing something wrong. But yeah, I like this stuff, man. I talk it up because it's good stuff. Ooh. Cat-like reflexes. Hey, if you guys want to help me decide what to spool up first, I got one of these that I got to throw some braid on, and I got one of these I got to throw some fluorocarbon on. I don't know what to do. I'm way too indecisive of a person. Like, I can't make a decision on what to eat half the time, and when I walk into a gas station, I just like meander for a good 30 minutes. So yeah, if you guys got any advice for me, let me know, because I don't know which one to do first. Also, I'm just going to put them back because I am not having these rods fall on me. I'll just get the lines out and ready. So we got 15 pound fluorocarbon, 100% trilene. We got some Sufix Performance braid that we're going to throw on a rod. Can I ask, how long did it take to bring all those boxes when you did the unboxing? That was my first video I seen you from. Oh, in what sense do you mean that? Like, how long did it take me to bring all the boxes inside? Because it took me a hot minute, bro. It took me a while. Yeah, it was a lot of boxes. Yeah, it was a ton of them. I still have a few of them in the background here that I need to deal with and sort, but actually I have a whole huge, like, further in-depth unboxing video, because if you watched that video, I'm sure you saw that I didn't really take anything out of the package. Like, all this stuff is left in its package like this, but I just filmed a whole, like, spread of me opening almost every single bait. There's only a few that, like, for example, that one I just showed, that's still in its package because I already had multiples of them. So that DT6 I showed, I already had a couple of them. The Flutter Spoon, I already had 2 of them, which you can actually see that in my short. It's a long story. Anyways, pretty much I've unboxed almost all of my hard baits. Flutter Spoon, spinner baits, skirted baits, jigs, whatever, anything like that. It's been unboxed and it's been put inside of a Plano box, but that video is currently being edited, like I said earlier. Same concept with the rods over here. That video is being edited as well, because I mean, it's a lot of content, it's a lot of stuff for me to edit, and then I'm on this live stream right now, which I could edit on the live stream, but that's not the point of this. I want to put some line on my reels. Anyways, the point I'm trying to get to is all the baits are out of their packages and inside of a Plano box, and y'all get to see that. Yeah, it took me a while to get the stuff from outside. It did. It took a hot minute. There was a lot of boxes. I'm not gonna lie. They were heavy. Some of them were really heavy. I think that the Gary Yamamoto Senko might have been the heaviest box. It literally weighed, like, I'm not gonna lie, that box might have weighed like 22 pounds. I'm not kidding. It was a really heavy box, and whenever it showed up, it said something on there like warning heavy, and then it showed like a poundage on the box, and I don't remember what it was, but I do remember it being a double digit, which is crazy. If you're ordering fishing lures and it's just soft plastics and it's double digits, what in the world? I did order a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of salt in their baits, so it's another thing. Salt does weigh your bait down. That's why their Senko shimmies and drops so perfectly whenever it's weightless. But yeah, let's keep going here. Look for some line that I'm gonna throw on. Oh, another line that I really like to throw is P-line. I really like this stuff. What rod brands do I have? I have a whole bunch, man. I'm not the kind of person that's like a purist. I'm not like, oh, dude, if I'm buying this brand, that's it for life. I do have brands that I like more than others. That definitely does exist, but that's just because preference over time. Fishing, you kind of get a feel for a rod, then you get confidence on that rod, then you may say, oh, well, I like the sensitivity of this rod, or oh, I like the bend in this one, I like the like the parabolic action, helps me get a better cast, whatever the reason you may have for getting that rod or reel. Yeah, I have a whole bunch. So just to break some down, like my favorites are Shimano, definitely my favorite. Like this right here is my recent, this is my recent purchase. I don't want to hit it on the ceiling because it's a swim bait glide bait rod, but it's a Shimano SLX, massive. It's the swim bait edition, so it's got the full handle right here, which I thought was just really sweet because I have a lot of full handle. Ooh, that was close. I have a whole lot of full handle cork rods, and I just kind of wanted something on the other end of things, especially because it probably will hold up better to like most situations. If it's raining, if it's wet, I mean, you are fishing water, so I'm sure it will get wet. But yeah, SLX, Shimano SLX is a great rod brand just because it's such an affordable price point. Like, I think I paid like $100 for this rod or something like that, and yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong with a Shimano. Another few brands that I like, surprisingly, I really like Duckett. I know Duckett gets a lot of hate, but I like their rods. I think their rods are really well made. The Jacob Wheeler series is really nice, and I know that he's just recently put out some like new rods with more like tailored to specific technique and stuff like that. I just like the plain old Silverado. Like, I'll chuck that thing around all day. That's the first like real rod that I had spent a lot of money on. It was the first rod I ever had. Quick story: I had a Duckett Silverado. It was like a 6 foot, maybe 6'8", 6'9". It was like a weird number, but I like a little bit of a shorter rod because I like to fish jigs a lot, and I just skip them under docks and put them in these nooks and crannies. And my favorite rod, I had a Shimano Corrado DC reel with a 6'8" or 9". Again, like I said, I don't remember. Duckett Silverado, and I had put it on top of my car when I was pumping gas or something like that, or I was getting ice at a gas station, and I put it on top of the car. I just drove off, and I never saw that rod again. So I went back and I had to go get another one. But it's not the same size. It's not a 6'8". This one's like a 7'4", I believe. It's a 7'4" heavy, which it does have a bit more kind of tip than I would want whenever I'm flipping and pitching, but I think that's going to help me whenever I'm throwing big walking baits like I was talking about. And whenever I'm flipping and pitching with it, that bit of action might actually help me. Like, whenever you throw a bait, you want a bit of movement in the bait. You don't want everything to be too stiff. Whenever you're jigging it up and down, then there's not really going to be any fluidity or action to the bait. So it will help there. I just think I got to be a bit careful and sensitive on the rod hook. On the rod hook. Wow, what am I saying? I just got to be a bit sensitive on the hook set. I'm the same way. I'm everywhere with brands. I have 13 Fishing, KVD, Lew's, Fenwick, Bass Pro Brand. Yeah, stuff like that, dude. It's all the way through. I got Lew's, I got Shimano, I got Alu Garcia, I got Okuma. Okuma's probably actually, dude, Okuma might be my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. It's up there. Okuma is like, for me, Shimano is like your top notch, or at least this is just my opinion. I'm not a professional, right? I don't make rods or anything like that. But for me, my favorite is Shimano, and then almost like a lower class Shimano. I don't want to say lower class because they're great rods and reels. The Okumas are just like, golly, they're nice. I mean, they have some really nice stuff. Yeah, I like Okumas. I'm thinking of getting the Jacob Wheeler rod. I want the one for Texas rigs and hard baits. Oh, dude, that'd be sick. Are you talking about the new ones he just put out that I was mentioning earlier? Because I know that he has some of the older style ones that he used to have. I think it's called the Paradigm, or maybe that's the reel. I think the reel is called the Paradigm. I'm totally not sure, but I know that he has his rods that he's put out, and then he put out a new series that looks similar to the old ones, but they've got a complete different action on them, which I think it's really cool whenever rod companies do that. Like, even for example, like Guggen gets a lot of hate, but I have a Guggen rod over here, and I really like the fact that they put the coloration in the tip of the bend so you see where your action is in the rod. That's a really cool touch, man. Same for Duckett, they do that as well with the Silverado, going from the white all the way to the I don't know what to call that, I guess like a gunmetal. But yeah, really cool stuff. It just makes it that much more effective for you as a fisherman to be able to see something and say, okay, my rod's going to bend to this point. I know exactly maybe how much pressure I want to put, or what baits I want to throw, or what stuff like that. But yeah, man, you should totally get that rod. That'd be sick. Texas rigs and hard baits, yeah, it's a great rod. Could do a whole bunch with it, especially right now in the summertime. Oh my gosh, a Texas rig around here in Texas, I know that's crazy. A Texas rig has been killing them over here down south. I've been catching them like nobody's business. I got a video dropping tomorrow morning, which is me back at the OG pond, because as you can see, I'm back at the house. I'm not at the river, I'm not at the beach, I'm not at the anywhere. I'm just back at the crib. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably post that video tomorrow morning at around, I don't know, maybe 7 in the morning. I like to post kind of early just because I'm up early. I don't sleep a whole bunch. Now I'm looking at the older models. I want a casting rod that can use Texas rigs and hard baits. Any suggestion on height and action? Man, to be honest with you, my favorite Texas rig and hard bait rod is just a 7-foot medium heavy. Now, the problem is when it comes to rods and companies, everyone has their own definition of what a 7-foot medium heavy is. So one rod company's 7-foot medium heavy is not going to have the same taper or backbone or parabolic action, whatever you want to call it, as another company's 7-foot medium heavy. So the one that I'm currently using, it's a Shimano Caius. It has a bit more of a stiffer backbone, and I think they use it as well for like redfish, saltwater, I don't know, maybe more brackish water. I don't want to say like full-on saltwater, but that's the rod that I currently use for hard baits and Texas rigs, and dude, it's probably one of my favorites. But you can never go wrong with, if you're trying to upsize a little bit, if you're looking to throw a little bit more bigger baits, you could go with a 7'3" medium heavy, or you could go with a 7'4" heavy even, and just have that thing be a freaking broomstick. It's all dependent on what you like as a fisherman. I don't personally know what you like to throw, but what I like to do is I like a 7-foot medium heavy. I'm not crazy tall, like I'm not stupid tall, and I'm not super short, so a 7-foot rod is almost like it's just a perfect kind of middle ground for me. I do have a 7'3" medium heavy that I probably will use on some Texas rigs or some hard baits, just depending on what I'm throwing. There's just so many variables, like how much does the bait weigh, what's the size of the bait, what pound line do I have on the reel with that rod for me to be allowed to throw that bait, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, just a good rule of thumb, 7-foot medium heavy, you can never really go wrong with that. Or if you want to go up a size than that, you could go a 7'3" medium heavy. It's just going to give you a bit more tip and a bit more backbone on like both ends. So pretty much if you're throwing a hard bait, like let's say you're throwing, I don't know if you consider a chatterbait a hard bait, on a 7'3" medium heavy, whenever they go to inhale that chatterbait and you're just sitting there cranking it in, it'll actually allow them to, when fish eat, they basically suck in, and it's like a vortex, and they create negative space. So that chatterbait's going to be able to get inhaled, and the tip of your rod, allowing you to have more tip, a little bit more parabolic bend, it's going to let them kind of get that bait a little bit better, maybe get more of it in their mouth, so you end up getting more of a hook set. And then as well, with more tip, you have the capability of fighting that fish just a little bit better because you have that much more leverage on them. And then yeah, there's just a lot of reasons why going up a size is probably better when you're fishing a Texas rig or hard baits. But it just really depends on what you're doing as well. Like, you could be a kayak fisherman, then throw a 6'8" and you'll get away with it just fine. If you're a bank fisherman, throw a 7-foot. If you're a lake fisherman, boat kind of fisherman, throw a 7'3". The extra bit of length is going to help you get a way further cast as well. It can handle higher line test. It can handle just a lot more stuff. So yeah, something like that. Golly, I think we're finding out that I'm not good at multitasking. I haven't got a single rod spooled up here, but it's okay. I'm actually really enjoying this, man. Feel free to keep asking me whatever you have. Okay, 15 pound, 65. See, the real question that I need to figure out that I'm struggling with right now is I have 20-pound test and I have 25-pound test, and I'm trying to throw it on my big old swim bait rod, which I know is crazy. I'm the YouTube fisherman asking you guys for advice, but this is why we're on live. I care about y'all's opinions, so if you guys think I should throw 25-pound test on my reel for swim baits and glide baits, just go thick, go with that thick boy, or should I go with a 20-pound fluorocarbon? Y'all let me know. I really can't decide, but either one of those is going to get thrown on that SLX that I showed. Thank you for the info. My pleasure, bro. This is what I love doing. I love talking about fishing. I love fishing in general. It's my one true passion when it comes to just the outdoors and nature. Like, I love everything about the outdoors and nature, but I'll go fishing every day of the week if I can, and I will. Alright, so we're going to spool up these two heavies. We got the line ready for that. My braid, I need some more braid on this rod right here, so I'll probably throw some of this 50-pound blue camo with this guy right here. This is my that was a weird spin I did. I don't know why I did that. This is my Abu Garcia Vengeance Pro Series black and blue combo. I got it paired up with a loose black and blue I think it's LFS inshore. It's like large fish spool or something large. I don't have a clue what it stands for, something like that, but it's a really nice combo. It's just all black and blue, probably one of my favorites. And then I throw the black and blue camo braid with it, so just the whole setup, you know what I mean, look good, feel good. I feel like that is a thing on the water personally. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna do for sure. Okay, I think I've got the majority of my lines out that I'm gonna do. 15-pound fluorocarbon, 65-pound Suffix braid, 50-pound Beyond braid, and then I still haven't decided 20-pound or 25-pound. I don't have a clue. I have to figure that one out. I would use 25. I know, man. I'm leaning towards it. I really am. The problem is like, if you're familiar with buying higher pound tests, it gets more expensive the higher you go. So 20 and 25 pound are more expensive than 10 or 15 pound because they're using more fluorocarbon material, but the spool is going to be almost the same size. So with that being said, these are my only two spools of line that I have that are in 25 and 20 pound test, and I'm worried that if I throw the 25 pound on the glide bait rod, then the 20 pound won't hold up as well for leader material if I'm like flipping and pitching and I want to put some fluorocarbon line on there. I really don't know, like 20 pound flipping and pitching leader, 25 pound for the swim bait glide bait, that seems to make sense to me, right? That's logical. I don't know why the 20 pound would fail me, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous. You throw rattle traps? If so, do you like the BB sound or the one knock sound? I enjoy fishing and talking fishing. That's why I will ask you any questions that come to my head. I appreciate that. The rattle traps with the BB sounds are effective on some days, and the ones with the one knockers are effective on other days. I will say this. I think that the one knockers can tend to be a bit more effective whenever water is really dirty or muddy and you need to like really get them to find your bait. So it's like, hey, I'm over here, you know, you're like knocking on their door. Like literally think of it like a door knock, right? Like you're pulling up to their home. That's their home. They're living in the water. It's muddy, it's dark, they can't see nothing. You're throwing a rattle trap and it's pitch black, all right? You pull up to the door and you're just like wrapping it like this with a little bit of BBs, and they're not gonna answer. You pull up like knocking on that door, what's up, man? I'm here. They're gonna probably find your bait. granted, with fishing, there's always like you know, there's always so many factors at play that, like, you could say one thing and it may be true one day, or it may be true 90% of the time, but then there's that 10% that, oh, they're just not eating that kind of a bait. So really depends on what they're feeding on. I think it works really well at imitating a crawfish or a bait fish. The one knocker does. The rattling BBs though, that's worked traditionally throughout the years for so long that I think that they've almost become a bit conditioned to it. I will say they still catch fish. Like I've gone out there. I have a video on my channel of me throwing a rattle trap. It's like a cheap Walmart one. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in this box, but if I pick it up and I shake it, it literally sounds like a bunch of little cheap BBs in there, and it works. I caught 4-pounders, I caught 3-pounders, 3.5s, 2.5s, 1s, whatever kind of size fish that you would, be happy with. You call it decent fish at the end of the day, especially on like a cheap bait like that. It's like $2 bait. It works. But I think they've gotten kind of conditioned to it, and they haven't seen a one knocker as much. As well as if you fish a one knocker, you have to go out of your way to buy that. Whereas like a BB with rattles in it, you could find at like a local Walmart. You could find sometimes even at the park on the ground, which I have a video of that. Like I've literally found one on the floor, and I was like, holy cow! It's a brand new rattle trap from Bill Lewis. It's a lot harder to find a one knocker, so they're not as conditioned to it. But if the bass are, finessey, if they're pressured, if they're not feeling it, then it may not work at all. So I don't have a favorite when it comes to baits. I like what works. My favorite is what works. Whatever's going to catch me fish, whatever's going to catch me tons of fish, or whatever's going to catch me a big fish. I'm happy with either one. If I go home with 20 dinks, I'm cool with that. If I go home with one 20-pounder, I'm even cooler with that. I use 20-pound braid for flipping, but I do fish shallow. Holy cow, you use 20-pound braid for flipping. You're a madman. That's crazy. I use 25, that's wild. 20-pound braid for flipping. I mean, the truth is, at the end of the day, it is rated for 20 pounds, so you technically could flip and pitch with it. The reason why I use 50 or above typically is because the areas that I'm fishing, it's like so much cover. It's just wood, trash, milfoil, lily pads, hydrilla, ponds, pond grass, everything you could think of. It's the worst. And yeah, especially like whenever I'm getting off-road and I'm going to areas that are not maintained, it's a lot better to have something that I can rely on, that I know I can just break through whatever I get caught up on. And if I'm flipping and pitching as well, I like to be able to punch through my mat and then typically bring it back up through, and I feel like the 50-pound braid kind of helps me get through that grass just a bit better. It almost acts like a, those little pocket saws that have the little rings through them? You put a finger through, and then you were to like wrap it around and you saw back and forth. If you do it to wood, like 50-pound braid and wood actually do not work. I like fluorocarbon whenever I'm around a lot of wood cover. But whenever I'm around a lot of grass, lily pads, hydrilla, milfoil, any sort of pond grass, cattails, anything like that, I like a 50-pound braid. I can throw it in whatever vegetation, probably punch through it, rip through, cut through whatever grass, real easy peasy. I never lose my baits. Like, I've got a frog that I've probably fished for 3 or 4 years now that's still going strong. But I believe that you can fish with 20-pound braid because, there's people out there that catch like 50-pound red drum on dock demons, and that comes with like 6-pound monofilament. So yeah, you can do a lot with fishing line and a drag system. It's definitely really good if you use your drag system. I just reached into the wrong box and almost put a hook in my hand. There's a box over there with literally just baits and hooks in an open, empty box, and I almost just got forked. Everyone else says I'm a madman for doing that. I feel comfortable doing that. I guess I'm the crazy guy. Yeah, you're the crazy guy, brother. But it's okay, man. Like, fishing is all about what you like. And I will say this, like I was mentioning earlier, I think that whenever you have a bait that has a lot of fluidity to it, it looks natural. So maybe whenever you're throwing 20-pound braid, it may look a lot better or a lot more of a realistic approach than most people throwing heavier braid. Like, I know whenever I'm throwing 50 or 65 pound braid, whenever I pitch it out there, you can see that thing floating on the water for a second before it absorbs some water and kind of sinks down. And then you could probably still see it sinking through the water column, so it may not look as realistic. But I don't throw braid straight directly unless it is extremely dirty water and really heavy cover. It's got to be both, right? Like if it's really muddy water, but there's not a bunch of cover, I don't necessarily need to. Or if it's like vice versa, if it's a lot of cover, I may still go 50 pound. But really, I like to throw fluorocarbon as much as I can get away with. I just feel like it's more invisible. Obviously, you're going to trigger more bites, and yeah, you're better off. But 20-pound braid diameter is, I think it's like 8 or 10-pound test mono fluoro. So yeah, like I said, maybe you throwing the 20-pound braid may actually get you more bites, especially if you're tying direct. I don't even know if a fish can see 20-pound braid. So yeah, maybe that's something I need to try. Oh boy, hook in the hand, not good, be careful. Oh yeah, I understand, that's why I like fishing, everyone is different. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've gotten some hooks in me. I got a hook in my leg one time, and it was so bad that like it was beyond the barb. It was like past the barb and then almost pushing to the other side, so I could see the point kind of sticking through, and I was like, okay, I just had to push it the rest of the way through, cut the barb, and pull the hook out. And that was probably the worst experience I had getting a fish hook in anything, and I don't plan on doing that again. Like, I don't want to experience that again whatsoever. I'm gonna try and avoid that as much as possible. I don't care how many views or likes I get for a hook in the hand and a bloody short video, it's not going down. I throw fluoro and braid. I don't know if I ever throw mono. Yeah, I rarely do as well. I have one rod that I throw mono on, and it's like I rarely do it. I throw mono on the rod mainly because of, at the time I didn't have any braid, so I was just like, okay, well, monofilament floats, I'm fishing at top water. I threw some like 12-pound mono on there, and I mean, it works. Like, monofilament's a great line, don't get me wrong. I think monofilament is better as a shock absorption leader. I think monofilament is more invisible than fluorocarbon. Excuse me, I think monofilament, can be more invisible than fluorocarbon. And I think that the shock absorption of monofilament is way better than fluorocarbon. A piece of fluorocarbon, wrap some around your hands and go like this. It's not as bouncy or stretchy as monofilament. But whenever you're tying direct braid to a leader that's fluorocarbon is stiff as well. It's almost too stiff sometimes, so I've gotten away using monofilament as a leader in many situations, especially if you're fishing something that's already weighted. And even if you're fishing a top water as well, there's just some situations I wouldn't recommend it. Like flipping and pitching, I probably wouldn't do monofilament, but like on a Carolina rig, I go mono. And then it floats as well, so like, okay, here's a secret tip since you've been hanging out with me for a minute. Whenever you throw monofilament on a Carolina rig, the line has a tendency obviously to float because monofilament floats. It's going to make your bait stay just a little bit more off of the bottom. You're going to have way less snags. I used to fish fluorocarbon on a Carolina rig, and pretty much every time I'd throw it, I'd get like snag if you let it sit for too long. I started throwing monofilament, casting it out there, and let it sit for 30 seconds, maybe more. Reel in, pop, drag, do whatever, and it was perfectly fine. It's almost like your bait wants to just kind of sit right above the bottom there. But yeah, give it a try if you haven't already. I only use mono and fluoro whenever excuse me, let me reread this. I only use mono and fluoro because I mostly trout fish. That's fair. That's totally fair. Whenever I'm fishing for trout, rainbow trout especially, if you're like talking about like river fishing, I don't throw braid for the most part. Unless it's on a spinning rod, I'll do some braid backing, and then I'll do a monofilament leader, a pretty long one at that actually. But for the most part, actually, I noticed that I get more bites whenever I'm fishing for trout when I go straight mono or fluoro. Like, who said that? I'm gone fishing. Nice name. I like the name, brother. Man, I like all y'all's names. Gillmaster, I'm gone fishing. We all got some cool names, guys. But, yeah, I'm gone fishing is right, actually. I think I tend to lean more towards monofilament and fluorocarbon whenever I'm trout fishing. I think that they're just really line shy. Like, that's the one fish that's that seems to be really line shy. And that's not to say that they're difficult to catch. Like, they're really dumb fish. You're throwing, like, you can catch them on power bait, and you're just throwing it on a hook, wadding it up and chucking it out there. It's really not that hard to get them to eat that, and you just let it sit. So it's not like it's hard, but they're definitely line shy. Like, I've seen people go from having full stringers and a guy standing next to the guy with a full stringer with no fish whatsoever, and it's because they're probably not throwing the right line. So yeah. Notorious Fishing says, your channel is awesome. Thank you so much. That means a lot, man. You're making me smile today. I was actually really nervous to come on here, I'm not gonna lie. This is my first time doing a live stream, and I didn't know how you guys would receive it, and I'm really thankful that, you know, you guys are really positive and great. I really appreciate that. Thank y'all for being here. I live in the mountains, so I fish for a mix brook trout and rainbow trout. Wow. Okay. Just flex on all of us. Dude, that sounds like a great time. Are you kidding me? Mixed of brook trout and rainbow trout. Yeah, that's got to be sick. I missed my PB brown trout. I didn't get it on camera, unfortunately. It was at a time whenever I don't even think I had a GoPro with me. I was fishing a river system that pretty much I didn't even know they had brown trout in there, and it's extremely rare to find them. And I was throwing out, casting a little rooster tail, just cranking this thing as fast as I could, like trying to trigger a reaction strike, because I was like, you know, I don't want something small to come up and eat this. I want something big to find this thing and just really hunt it down. And I was reeling in super fast, and I saw this big old, like, brown, golden looking trout. It's gorgeous. And it just kind of like batted at it and swatted at it, and then it like figure eighted my rooster tail, and I was just so in shock. I just watched it just swarm my bait, and I didn't think to do anything. Like, I probably should have started figure eighting back. I could have probably triggered it to eat again. I don't even know, but sometimes you just gotta enjoy the beauty of nature, and that's what I did, and I don't regret it. Well, it depends. Native trout are smarter than, golly, my nose itches, excuse me. Well, it depends. Native trout are smarter than stock trout. Wow, that's really cool. But I guess that makes a bit more sense, right? Like, stock trout have lived inside of like a cage or a farm pond their whole life, so they might not know any better. Whereas a fish in the wild has seen natural forage over and over and over. You throw something that's not real, it may be like, oh, I'm not eating that thing. That's not a real fly. That's not a, you know what I mean? Something like that. Which, you know, that's a real big positive to fly fishing. A lot of people like to knock on fly fishing, and I don't personally have a fly rod or a combo. It's a bit expensive. That may be something I invest in the future. But, you know, like, throwing a fly rod, you can catch a lot of fish that are pressured. They're maybe really finicky, or they're really just intelligent fish that, you know, you're presenting something to them that just looks so real, so natural, and so finesse that they almost can't resist it. So there is a bonus to fishing fly rods and stuff like that. And yeah, you are definitely probably right on that. I'm not too familiar. I've never fished for native trout, and that's something I definitely plan on doing here on the channel. That's something I plan on doing as soon as I can find a good spot. There's a few that I was looking at in Oklahoma. If you guys have any recommendations for me for any trout fishing spots with that have native trout or stocks, I don't really care. Feel free to let me know. I think you should do more live streams, Gillmaster. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that. I will do my best to do more live streams. I'm honestly enjoying this. This is really cool. I feel like I'm really getting to nerd out right now and just talk about everything fishing related. And I know I'm not the best. I don't know everything, but I'll tell you guys what I do know. And I'm not here to promote or anything like that. Like, I'm not sponsored by any of these brands. Any of these companies that I talk about, Suffix, Berkley, Rapala, any of these brands I talk about, no one is paying me to say what I'm saying. I'm saying what I'm saying because I go out and fish with these baits, equipment, lines, lures, whatever, anything. I'm going out using them, and I know that it's quality stuff, and that's something I could recommend you guys to go get yourself. That way you guys can be like, you know, that he put me on, right? Like, that's something I'm actually able to enjoy, get a use out of, and it's not something that's just going to break on you or be cheap or not hold up to what you're looking for. I really want something that's going to fit you guys' needs. I want everyone to have their bases covered because, you know, the better off you are when you're out there, the more safe you're going to be, the more ethical everyone's going to be. It just makes for a better fishing environment at the end of the day. I'll wake up at 7 in the dead December and go out and fish. I'm gone fishing. I love that. I love that, bro. That's exactly like me too. I am a diehard fisherman. I'll wake up at the weirdest time. Sometimes I'll wake up at like 3, 4 a.m. and she'll be like, I kind of want to go fishing. Sometimes I don't do it, but I feel like whenever I do, I tend to catch some crazy big fish. Where I live, we catch speckled trout. They're pretty fun. I'm not too familiar with that. I might have to, you know what? I have multiple devices here in front of me. How about I look up a speckled trout real quick? Speckled trout. Let's check it out real quick. The only thing that's coming up for me is like spotted like sea trout, like saltwater trout, if that's what you mean, like spotted sea trout, speckled trout as well as what they call them here. That is really, really cool, man. I went out fishing in the Gulf of Mexico and in like Galveston area here in Texas, looking for, you know, really anything I could get on. Some speckled trout, flounder, redfish, black drum, pretty much all the above. Definitely know the difference between the smells of fake stuff and real bait. I mostly use red wigglers while trout fishing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of fun to do that. That's actually what I did recently when I went to Blue River in Oklahoma. I was fishing with some red. Well, actually, technically they weren't red. They were dipped green. They had this chartreuse kind of green coating on them. But I was fishing with some worms. They're technically like red night crawlers or wigglers or something like that. It's a lot of fun, man. I like to do live worm fishing. I like to do live bait fishing. I like to do cut bait fishing. I like to do artificial bait. I like to fish, man. I hate people that hate on other people. Like, if you fish one way, that's cool. You don't have to hate on the other person for fishing that way. And if you think one way is more effective than the other, that's cool, man. Fish however you want to fish, because there's so many different ways to fish, and it's all fun. If you really just don't look at it from a negative perspective, if you appreciate it as fishing for what it is, all of it's fun, man. I love throwing live bait. I love throwing cut bait. I love throwing artificial, soft plastic, hard baits. All of it. It's all fun to me. I tie my flies, but for mostly saltwater. Mostly redfish and speckled trout, sometimes even bass. Oh, that's really cool. I've heard of people catching striped bass, or maybe it's hybrids, I'm not exactly positive, on flies. Like fly rods and flies that they're tying, which... that's so cool, man. I know that you use it like a bobbin and stuff like that to tie them and thread, and I've been looking into that. I don't know if I'll be able to afford something like that quite yet. I know it's not much of a startup, but you know, everything costs money, and you know, slowly but surely maybe I'll get there. But I think that's so cool, man. I've always wanted to tie up stuff with natural, organic stuff that I find whenever I'm out in the wild, whenever I'm in nature, whenever I'm out exploring. Sometimes I'll find like feathers on the floor from different birds. And I look at them and I'm like, man, I could just take these, cut them down, and it's like, oh, it'd be so cool. Definitely something I'm going to look forward to in the future. I think that's so cool that you do that, man. And if you're catching, if they're catching saltwater, if it's striper or hybrid or whatever it is, let me know, man. I'm not exactly sure. Inform your boy. Anywhere along the Appalachian Mountains, there are plenty of areas to fish for trout. Okay, then that's something I'll definitely put on my map. I need to definitely go check it out. The Appalachian Mountains is, of course, something that I've heard of. I think most people have heard of the Appalachian Mountains. You know, they're very popular. And I love exploring. I love adventuring. I love the outdoors. I love nature. So maybe that's something I need to go check out, guys. Definitely something I need to go check out. We are fishing nerds. We like what we like, and we use what we use and have fun doing it. Yep. Well said. Every video you have is so informative. You really helped me to catch fish. That means a lot to me. Thank you. You know, a lot of people ask me why I make YouTube videos. At the end of the day, like, I love making YouTube videos. It's fun. It's entertaining for me. It's a hobby for me. Like, I don't do it seeking any sort of like sponsorship or money or anything really. I don't even do it for views. Like, I enjoy the views. It's really cool. I love it when people watch my stuff and we can all talk about it and, like, you know, everything that comes with it. But pretty much, like, yeah, man, I really appreciate that. The reason that I really make videos at the end of the day is to to further society, right? Like I want to push people to be the best version of themselves that they can be. I think the best way to do that is to lead by example. So like, just to explain real quick, like sometimes people will leave comment on my shorts or something when they see me cleaning up a pond, and they say like, why did you record it? What was the point? I'd rather lead by example, right? If people see me doing that, then hopefully I'll inspire, at least if one person feels inspired to go do what I just did and clean up their pond, we will make the place 20 times better. Every time we come back, the fish will be happier, they'll be healthier, they'll feed on bait fish way better. Like, there's so many positives that comes to cleaning up your pond. Nature will heal itself. It'll bring back all the bait fish, the life, the aquatic life. When you have a piece, like when you have a trash bag or a tarp laying over your pond, it's gonna literally block all the sunlight. It's not gonna allow any sort of vegetation to grow, any natural pond or plant life that would literally help those fish hide, feed, have cover. There's a lot of things, oxygenate the water. So yeah, the main reason I make videos is to just further society and make humans, like better at fishing. Like